What's up, y'all? Hope all is well with y'all today. I am Nia. For those of you guys who don't know, if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, what's up, baby? Um, what's up, y'all? I just wanted to talk to y'all about identity today because y'all know um, identity is major, and humans overall are having major identity crisis, but especially us as chosen ones because we don't know who we are and we don't understand who we are and what does it really mean to be a chosen one. Some of you may know, but some people don't know, and you don't understand why you went through a lot of the things you've been through in your life. You don't understand why you're currently going through some of the things you're going through in your life. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And I've talked about it plenty of times before, but we must understand that we're the chosen ones, we're the earth angels. We've come here to save souls. We've come here to defeat the dark souls and possibly bring them from darkness to light. But we more so focus on helping each other, being that safe space for each other, because most of us as chosen ones, and like I always say, chosen ones are ultimately the black sheep, whether you're the black sheep of your family, or whether you're the black sheep of just community. Maybe you were the black sheep in school settings. You never, have friends, or you always the oddball out. You're the one that's different. Maybe even in the workplace, it's like you're the one that's different. You're not. We're 9 times out of 10, we don't go with societal norms. We're like outside of that box that they try to put us in. We don't fit in tight spaces, baby, because we're unique. We're not designed to fit in, which is why God purposely set us apart. And the way that is it's the mark that's on you. It's a spiritual mark that is on us. But in the physical, it looks like being the black sheep of your family. This is why most families, this is a narcissistic world that we live in. And God allowed this, it's strategic. It's very strategic. God has a plan for everything he does. Like everything that we go through, it's for a reason, even if we don't like it, because I be having my moments too, which I'll probably end up talking about in a second. Um, but God has strategy for what he does. This is how he separate the tares from the wheat. This is how he know who's his, who's not, who's of the kingdom of heaven, and who's of the kingdom of darkness at the core level, in the soul level, on a spiritual level. This is how you can, tell the difference. You can tell the difference. We're different. Um, so we need to know who we are though, and know how to fight, because we're not called here to be weak. Yes, a lot of us are empaths, and a lot of empaths get stepped on. And if you don't know what an empath is, it's basically, it's a trait about yourself. It's who you are, because you have that natural people pleasing spirit. You feel for others, and because you feel for others, you want to save them. You know how it feels to go through harsh things because you've been through it. So you want to be that light to darkness. You want to have, that's why a lot of empaths have that savior complex. We are modern day messiahs. We are our own little messiahs. Like God set us up to do works like Jesus did, to come in and save souls, to come in and go through suffering just for the ability to be able to save other people. So he's trying to equip us, and this is the purpose of us going through, our wilderness season, going through our periods of isolation, is so that he can lead us to where we need to be strong and steadfast in our faith, confident in who we are, so that we can carry out the mission that he called us here to carry out, because the mission that he called us to carry out is not for the weak. We're called here to go up against literally heavy hitters of the kingdom of darkness. So he got to take us through the training camp, through boot camp, so that we can get equipped to do the same thing. But a lot of times, because we're so like weakened within our empathic component of us, we let people trample all over us instead of us trampling on them, like the authority that we was given by Jesus to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, it's okay to be empathic, but you got to know too that there's a time and a place for that empathy, and all times is not the times for that, especially the life that we're living in. We're literally in the battlefield. This is literally a jungle out here. We're in the game of life. Life is a game, and it's really survival of the fittest, and it's the kingdom of heaven against the kingdom of darkness. And we are under the kingdom of heaven, and God is trying to equip you to fight against that darkness, because a lot of time they like to come together to team up on the empaths or the chosen ones, black sheep. All of that's the same thing. Chosen ones, the black sheep, empaths, all of us go through the same thing. And a lot of times we are empathic because we come from narcissistic families. This whole narcissist empath thing, it is strategy. The black sheep against the narcissist family, it is strategy. It is to separate. It is how God knows who is his. But a lot of times because there's a lot of chosen ones that are on the you're supposed to be on the kingdom of heaven, but you do a lot of kingdom of darkness things because you don't know who you are. And that's why God needs to show you who you are. And a lot of his people that is actually his has turned away from him because he see how the kingdom of darkness likes to infiltrate and act like they are of God. They act like they are of the kingdom of heaven when really they're not, but they hide behind God. This is why you see a lot of them Christian folk, like religious folk, that hide behind God but do a bunch of wickedness, which is why a lot of black sheep, chosen ones, however, but a lot of chosen ones have run away from God, don't want to even deal with God. They start doing they end up getting into a lot of witchcraft activities because they seeking love and in all the wrong places because they didn't have it from their narcissistic family. So they're going out here looking for love from in any way they can, and they end up getting involved into a lot of dark practices. But ultimately, those dark practices, a lot of these religious folk out here, they literally practice a lot of this dark magic stuff. They indulge more into a lot of that stuff than the other side does. But God doesn't. That's why he will bring you out of any of those type of tactics, because a lot of the stuff that you do is because of where you come from. It's because of who you come from. Like I said in that last video, if y'all have not watched the last video about self-sabotage, I discussed this in the video. A lot of our self-sabotaging ways is because of who someone else told us we are, what someone else thought of us. And this is why a lot of chosen ones can easily get manipulated and stepped on, is because you're looking for that validation. When you get to a point where you know who you are, you're not going to be seeking validation from everybody. You don't care what everybody in the city, everybody in your family, even your ex-partners, your current partners, you're not caring about everything that they think of you. You're not feeling the need to seek validation from outside sources because it's going to come from within. But when you don't know yourself, and you don't know who you are, you don't know who God created you to be, and you're not standing in truth with your own self, with your own identity, you are looking for that stuff from the outside. And when the outside don't give it to you, you begin to think that you are worthless and that you don't mean anything and that you're here for no reason. You begin to undermine yourself because you don't know who you are, and you're seeking outside sources to tell you that. But the only person that can tell you that is God, the Most High. That's the only one who could tell you who you are. And when he sends you on this journey in the wilderness, which is, it might be a season where you are homeless for some time. You might be living in your car. You might be just isolated. Even if you're not, going through those circumstances, you might have had everything stripped from you, your kids, your job, your house, your money, your everything. And it's only because God wants you to, one thing about God is he going to do whatever he got to do to get your attention. Some people would say that God, he not going to force himself on you. If you're not his child, he might not force himself on you. But when you're his, but you don't know you his because of what the other side then convinced you of, and because you think that the ones who claim God, they don't treat you with the love that you think that you should be loved with when it, pertains to who God is, you might begin to think that they are his and God don't like you because you see that they might be getting favored. At least it might look like it, but you don't even know the God that they serving. And you might begin to think that I can't be God's child if he let me, this happened to me. I can't be God's child if they get to do all of this to me and they get to win and they get to have success or, get to have love, what you might perceive as love anyway, because a lot of times that other side If you notice, all narcissists are cliquey. Anybody that's super cliquey, this is how you can just tell the difference between the two sides. They get validation from each other. They have to band up together, come together as a legion to attack little old you. It take a lot of them just to come against you. That alone shows you your power. Anytime you're in a situation where it take a bunch of mad folk, y'all know how I normally say, mad itches link up, period. And they do, because it takes a bunch of them to go against you, just one of you, just little old you. Well, big old you. How about I say that? Because you have big impact, but you don't know it. If many people got to come together to come against you, that says a lot about who you are, but you don't know it because you feel like everybody's coming after me. What is it? I'm just so under the earth. You end up thinking it is something bad when it's actually something good, because it shows your power. It shows that light. It shows your anointing. It shows who you truly are, but you just don't know it. And that's because you are a weakened empath. And you feel, because we feel, that's our gift. Empaths, chosen ones, we have the ability to feel. We can feel. We feel others. So we can feel bad vibes. We can feel good vibes. And when you feel these bad vibes, you begin to think that it's something wrong with you. It's not to say that you don't have no flaws, but it is a spiritual thing. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. A lot of this stuff out here that happens to us is because of who we are in the spirit. It's who you are, like your ranking in the spirit. And the enemy knows that, and he sends out his little demon seeds. He sends out his little minions for them to come out here. He jumps into their body and use them, and they let them, because their doors are open, they let them use them to wreak havoc on you, to prevent you from growing and elevate into who you need to be, which is becoming that empowered empath, knowing when and when not to have that empathy. Because you don't want, like I said, that people pleaser video, if y'all have not watched that, if y'all watching this video and haven't watched the last 2 or 3 videos, y'all need to go back and watch those, because it all leads up to like here. Because you got to stop that people pleasing stuff. As an empowered empath, no more people pleasing, because people are stepping all over you because of that. You don't know who you are. And until you know who you are, and until you're confident and not looking for love in all the wrong places, you're going to let people continue to walk all over you like you are a doormat. You're not a doormat at all. You're not a doormat. And you're not going to keep letting people treat you as such. You need to start putting your boundaries in place and stop worrying about who you're going to lose, what you're going to lose, how they're going to think about you. A lot of these people, their mind already made up about you, baby. And even if they pretend to be something, their spirit, they have Satan dwelling in them consistently. Satan has possessed a lot of these folks' body and is taken over their body. So it doesn't even matter. They're always going to be doing some type of attack to you, whether it's a subtle attack or something that is overt, where you know it, like it's no hiding it, because that's why you have these different levels of narcissism with these folks, because some of them hide it, like they have like little secret type of the covert ways where they do subtle little things to get to you. They might not yell, cuss, beat you up, none of that stuff. They might not, but they say little subtle things to trick you. It's a lot of manipulation that they play. And we know manipulation is a form of witchcraft. That is the number one form of witchcraft, because that's the number one way on how to get control and power. And that's all witchcraft is. It's getting control and power over someone else. That's all it is. And it's just the tactics that they use to get that control over a person, to try to get control over your mind, your soul, and your body. And like I always say, the mind first, then comes everything. That's why it's important to guard your ear gates and to gain wisdom, to practice having your relationship with God and practicing, getting wisdom. Y'all need to be reading the book of Proverbs. The ultimate wisdom. Ain't no books out here like the Holy Grail, the Bible. Y'all need to be reading the book of Proverbs, because it's a lot of wisdom. It's the book of wisdom. It's the book of wisdom. And just so many things throughout the Bible, period. That's why I say, to me, the Bible is the best book to read. If you're going to read any book in the world, you want to read the Bible, because it's so much game in there. So much game. It puts you on to so much. And if you read it and apply it to your situation, you're going to see how so many of your situations are in the Bible, how it has happened to many people before. So it's going to give you that wisdom that you need, you know. But ultimately, you want to get the wisdom so you know when you being bamboozled, when you being finessed. You need to be praying every day for discernment. You need to be fasting for these things. It is so important to fast so that you can get the clarity and the revelations that you need, so you can free yourself from all distractions, even food, even the impurities of the food, so you can completely allow the Holy Spirit to come up out of you, to come and truly reveal things to you that can never be. It's just like, it's just amazing that the transformation that happens through fasting. And that's what y'all want to be practicing more of. You really do want to do different types of fasting, and you need to be praying for discernment. You need to be praying for clarity and understanding. And when you get this stuff, it's going to allow you to truly wake up into who you really are called here to be. It's going to really make things that was never clear to you, it's going to make it more clear. And you're not going to be able to easily be bamboozled by the tricks of the enemy. All that manipulation that they try to do to you, you won't be bamboozled by it. All the false lies and stuff that they tell you, you're going to know when you're dealing with the truth and a lie. You're going to know how to discern between good and evil. You're going to know these things. You're going to know it. And of course, it's just in our heart posture as the chosen ones, as empaths. Our heart posture is automatically on wanting to see the good in other people. It's automatically in not wanting strife. We just want peace because we know what it's like to not have peace. And we just want peace. And because of that, sometimes, like I said in the previous two videos, the self-sabotage video and the people-pleasing video, we do things because we don't want to shake the room. So we'll allow certain things to go on, and it only ends up hurting us because you're afraid to put your foot down, because you don't want to cause friction. You don't want to be confrontational. A lot of chosen ones, not really confrontational, but when you take us there, we can really go there. But you don't want to get to a point where you letting everybody step all over you. You have to become empowered, know who you are, know when to, like it says in Ecclesiastes, it's a time for peace and it's a time for war. You got to know when to put your foot down. Ultimately, that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. God is training us up to go to war against the kingdom of darkness, because they winning too much out here and we can't have that. That's why a lot of times God is calling us into positions to speak, to use our mouth. The one thing that they try to silence you with for so long, because they know what's going to come out of it is going to awaken folks. That 144,000 chosen ones in the book of Revelation, ultimately, those are the ones on earth that's going to have the ability with their mouth to be able to awaken folks, to tell the truth, to speak the truth, which is why 9 times out of 10, we have been silenced, because the enemy don't want you to speak. Allow all that fear. If you got fear of being on camera, if you got fear of speaking to crowds and fear of being seen, all of that is nothing but a trick of the enemy, because the enemy wants you to have that fear and doubt in your mind so that you can never speak up, so that you cannot let your voice be heard to the masses, to speak out against the evil that he does. We are here to speak out against evil. That's why it might seem confrontational. Sometimes I might seem confrontational about some of the stuff that I be talking about, but I don't care, because I'm here to speak the truth. As long as we keep covering up darkness, covering up the evil in our families, covering up the evil about the system, covering up all the evil, we allow evil to prevail, and we cannot have that. We cannot have that. And the reason why a lot of evil is winning out here is because us as the chosen ones, who are the ones that's called here to denounce that mess, we're afraid to use our gifts. We're afraid to tap in. We're afraid to answer the call in our life. Like I always say, for many are called, but few are chosen. Like I say in the book. And I did that video too. I'm going to link that video in here, because if y'all have not seen that video, y'all need to watch it, because you can't want better and then don't want to speak up about what's wrong. When you let wrong stuff just go on and you don't say nothing, you actually are hindering the masses. You're hurting the same people that you're supposed to be here saving. And we can't have that. So I wanted to talk to y'all about, because I've been in my feelings. I told y'all I go through this all the time with God, like every week. And um it's part of my BPD because I do split. I do have splitting behaviors. I see it. And this is something, before I get into all of that, this is why it's important to go in your wilderness season and allow God to reveal who you are. Like, God is the one who told me I had BPD. God is the one who told me everything. God is the when he sent me away to Texas. I mean, that's when I found out what it really was about my childhood, about my mom, about, the sexual abuse that happened. I didn't know these things. I didn't know what I was really dealing with. I was totally oblivious. But it was the questions, even me asking, like, why do I always cut people off? Like, because I will cut you off like it's nothing and don't feel no way about it. And won't feel no way about it. And I ask these things, and this is why it's so important to be real with yourself and to have self-awareness. Like I discussed in that other video, the number one way to defeating self-sabotage is to have self-awareness, because you have to be introspective and know where you got to be able to look within to see what is wrong. Something is wrong. You got to be able to pay attention to your own patterns, just like you pay attention to patterns of other people. Even though some of y'all don't be paying attention to people's patterns. You want to know how people are, pay attention to their patterns. And that's something that God had to reveal to me. Like, when I tell y'all a lot of stuff, I didn't have no idea what it was. And I didn't know I had a narcissistic mother. I just always knew something was off. Because a lot of times dealing with these narcissists, you don't really know what you're dealing with, but you know something is not right. Even when you're younger, in childhood, teenagers, when you even younger than that, you know something's off. Even when you're in a relationship with these people, sometimes you know something is off. Like, I just can't put my finger on it, but I know something is off. You're on this emotional roller coaster all the time with these people, and it's always, so you notice something is off, but you just can't put your finger on it. So it took for God to send me away, and all of a sudden, like, different videos start popping up. And a part of my journey, I have begun to look into personality types, because as one just popped up one day, like I'm telling you, y'all know how the algorithm work. A lot of times it's nothing but divine orchestration. Ain't no algorithm per se. God is the algorithm. He will put a video on your path that is specific to you for what you're going through at that time in your life, especially if it's something that he really needs you to work on. And if it's something that is like, that's important to your health, your wellness, period, whether it's physical health, spiritual health, whatever it is. He will put those videos. They'll just come up on a recommended page or the home page or the explore page or whatever. Or even, no matter where you are, it's like it will like present itself. And that's a part of your identity. You want to get to learning your personality, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to know who you are. You want to know. So I watch a lot of videos about personality types, the Myers-Briggs personality type, then even within the, I guess, I don't want to call it negative, but I mean, because it's real. It's the psychology personality. Like I told you, I have the DSM-5 manual. This is what the psychiatrists use, the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders. That's how I say, I know I ain't stupid. I know that I got some form of BPD. It's mine is quiet though. It's the quiet BPD. It's more like high functioning. But quiet BPD is when your rage isn't more so outward, it's more so inward. And this is why you'll self-sabotage a lot. And growing up to narcissistic parents, you probably on some sort of spectrum. It don't mean that, because you can't control this. You didn't ask to have whatever your mental thing is. And a lot of us are not aware. I didn't know any of this either, but it's the questions that I had for myself, like, why do I cut people off? Like, I just don't be having the patience to deal with nonsense. And I feel like a lot of people come in your life with nonsense and they just want to do what they want to do in your life. And it just be like, you're not doing that here. So you got to go. You got to go. When I sense any fakeness, and because I have that ability, my intuition and the ability to feel fakeness, I can just feel it. It's just, I could tell y'all another story because it's just how it is, especially when it comes to these women out here. That's why I just can't have friends. It's always something. It's always something. Like, I'd be like, what did I even do to you? Literally, I don't even, it's just, I ain't even gonna talk too much about that right now. Cause I'd be like, girl, we not even cool. We not even friends for real. And you feel away, and I ain't even. But I've noticed too, some people feel away about you because you are reluctant in getting close with them. And I don't care if people feel away about me because I don't want to get close to you. And that part is too. This is why it's important to study attachment styles. Like, you really got to get down into the psychology. You need to be studying psychology and learning, watching psychology videos, because you get to see how your mind is made up, how others is, your attachment style. Why a lot of people have, we all have different type of attachment styles. Some people have insecure attachment styles, and it stems from your caretaker, who raised you, what type of environment you grew up in. That's why you got some super clingy folk because they are in super insecure folk because they have an insecure attachment style. You have people like me who have an avoidant attachment style. They avoid getting close to people. They avoid building those tight relationships, which is why people like me that have BPD have unstable relationships, because we don't want to get close to people, or we don't want to allow them in. We don't want to allow them to get super close. And it stems from a place of, like I said, for me, I know I have abandonment issues, but mine works instead of me getting clingy to folk, I keep people at a distance, because in my mind, I feel like you're going to leave, or I'm going to leave you. So one way or another, it's no point of me giving you all of me. It's no point of me getting super close to you, because it's not really going to last. So why do I need to even give you all of that? And I'm a very emotionally attached person. It might not seem like it because I don't even like to get close to people. But when I do get close to them, I'm super attached emotionally to them. And, I feel what they feel. If they sad, I'm sad. If they mad, I'm mad. If they happy, I'm happy. Like, I take on what they're feeling. And ultimately, it'll make me go into like savior mode for them, because I don't want them to feel like that. I want peace and happiness. That's just what I want. So I don't like when my people that I'm close with feel that way. And I know people switch up, and it just be a variety of different reasons why people switch up, and it be a variety of different reasons why people become jealous and everything. And just based off my experiences with the girls, with even the guys, but more so, like, I mean, it's different for both sides. But just based off my history, I realized why I don't like to get close to people, because when I'm invested in you and you do certain things to betray me, it's like betrayal trauma. I have betrayal trauma, and I avoid attaching to people so that I don't have to feel betrayed. If I don't get close to you, if you do anything, I ain't gonna feel betrayed. It's not gonna hurt me so bad. Like I told y'all in that other video, I do like to guard my heart. And like it says in Proverbs, guard your heart above all things, because everything you do flows from it. So, when you have that anger and that sadness or whatever comes from your heart, everything you do does flow from your heart. It flows from how you feel, and your feelings will show out. It will come out within your attitude. It will come out within your behaviors. And that's why I know, I like to I don't want to give my heart to anybody. And I know, like I said in that last video, I really am crazy for real. I don't want to get attached to you, and I don't want to give you my heart, because if you break my heart, I might be on Twisted Crimes and Viral Crimes and Snap, just like the rest of them folk, you know? So I think it's just best that I don't even give you my heart. That's just how I be feeling. But, it's just, and then having that, being able to regulate, because things happen and everything don't last forever. So it's like two sides of it that I battle with. But like I was saying, I do split. I see how I split, because I even do it with God. Like, I be feeling like the one person, and a lot of this comes from, we end up splitting because the same person that we're looking for to, provide and love us, it's also the same one that we see let us down. So it make you feel like 1 minute you feel like they all good. This is why we have that like all good, all bad. You either good or bad, and we don't really have a gray area because it's like we see we have expectations, and when people have titles, this is why I said before, when you give people titles, with titles come responsibility, and it comes expectations with that as well. When somebody have a certain title, you're expecting something of them because they have that title, and because they have that title, they have responsibilities that go with that title. So when they don't carry out all their responsibilities that come with that title, and you have those expectations for them and they don't fulfill them, you begin to think that they're bad. Just like, that's why a lot of people what? Go ahead. That's why a lot of people end up turning from God. If you ask yourself, if you were that person, or other people who had turned away from God, it's because God has the title of being the King, the Almighty, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the creator of this world, the one who can do everything. And people feel like, well, if you can do everything, why do you let certain things happen? Why do you let these things happen if you have the power to stop all these things? So because of his title, we have and we know the responsibility that come with his title. We have expectations for him to live up to because of his title, and it can make or break how you view that person because of that. And just like, think about even like a manager. When you at the store, having a situation with one of the employees, and or service that you had, and when you having issues with your product or service, and you call them, you have expectations for their customer service team to solve your problem. When their customer service team don't solve your problem, or they're giving you like pushback or anything, who are you going to ask for? You're going to ask for the manager. And with the manager, you expect something of the manager because you know that manager is supposed to have the power to solve problems and to solve it the way you really want, the outcome that you're looking for. So the manager has a responsibility. They're not to handle lower end things, but complex things that maybe their employees under them cannot handle. And you have expectations for that manager to solve your problem. That's why we ask for the manager, because we like, you're the one that can do it. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the one who can do it. And we're expecting the outcome that we're looking for. And then sometimes you get the manager and they tell you the same thing the other person underneath tell you, or maybe they actually have the power to solve it. And sorry. And so this is just what it is with that. And if they don't solve your problem, you're looking like, oh, you're bad, oh, you suck, this company sucks, and woo da woo da woo. And that's kind of how it is with having this splitting thing. It's because the person that you have expectations for them. And I think that's why for me, I take that term mother and father. It's not just something like for them to use in vain. And it's okay to say honor your mother and your father. Okay, honoring you is having a high regard for you. To honor means to hold a person to a high esteem and a high regard. So if I hold you to this position and you don't fulfill the needs of that position, now I'm looking at you like you're not trustworthy, like you're not even deserving of this title. And this is why y'all hear me all the time say, I don't care about titles like husband, wife, manager, teacher. All them titles, it means nothing to me, because if you don't fulfill your obligations as that title, it's a complete dereliction of duty. You don't carry out the acts that you're supposed to carry out with that duty. So therefore it means your title needs to be denounced. It's nothing. It means nothing. And that's just how I feel. Like, a lot of people care about titles though in this world, and I completely don't care about them, because a lot of people that have these titles, they never live up to them. And they're serious to me. Titles are serious. So when people don't live up to them, because with your, like I just said, with titles, you have expectations of these people. So once I feel like this is my expectation, you want to be held up. You want the honor of being a mother and a father, and you love the clout. I don't even know what word I'm really looking for, but you love what comes along with that. You love being able to celebrate the Mother's Day, the Father's Day. You love that position, but you don't love everything that come with that position, and you don't carry out your responsibilities as you're supposed to with that position. And yes, we are human. No matter what title you have, you're still a human with those titles. And a lot of us, we have multiple titles. And, you know, as a human being in this flesh, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes because that's just a trait of the flesh. But it's about how often you're doing it. What is the pattern of it? And that's what, all right, y'all. Y'all already know the baby. But we hold these people to these expectations. And yes, you know, nobody is perfect, but it's about how consistent it is. It's the consistency that matters. It's the consistency of how these people show up. So you'll end up, well, for me and anybody else that has this BPD, we end up splitting. So it's like today we might think we have this expectation for you. And when your person that you are honoring, which is like your parent and, you know, God too, because I'm about to tell y'all about that. When you have this expectation, it's like you're looking for them to do good. And when they do bad, it'd be like, now you're like, dang. And it's a pattern. And especially it's like it consistently happens on the day-to-day, week to week. They consistently letting you down. You begin to be like, dang, I don't know. I mean, are they good or are they bad? Are they good or are they bad? And for us, it'd be like that gray area just be like, it's like we either gonna lump you as all good or lump you as all bad. It's not looking at you with the middle, that gray area, and that is something that I'm trying to find. And that I'm understanding it more. But sometimes it still be like, you're bad. But it's realizing too that nobody is perfect. So you got to understand that we all do have some flaws. We not all good all the time. And just because somebody don't do what you want one time, it don't make them bad. It don't make them mean. It doesn't make that. But it is about the pattern of it. And I think that's what more so matters. And that's how I lump you. I look at your pattern. And if you have a pattern of consistently doing these things that are not good, then I'm going to lump you as, okay, you're bad. You're actually a bad person and you do good deeds sometimes. Or you can be a good person, but you do flawed things. You got some character flaws and you do flawed things sometimes. But like I was saying, I split on God too sometimes, because once again, you're the only one that I'm relying on. And this, like I said, with these issues, these mental disorders, personality disorders, and there's different ones. Because I have I'm an INFJ, and you know that's why you got to do the little Myers-Briggs personality test to see how you are, and to see when you're trying to figure out yourself. These videos really help them. So I love watching the different videos, even learning about the difference between the alpha, omega, delta, beta, gamma, females and males. Y'all should start watching some of those videos to see like, because we are different breeds. Everybody is not the same, and you can see it in the world. Everybody's not alpha. Everybody's not beta. Everybody's not sigma. I'm a sigma female, and when you get to learn these things, you realize what type of partners you need too. You got to realize who you mesh with and why you don't mesh with them. And you know, like God, He says He's the alpha, the omega. He is alpha and omega, and alphas are dominant. Omegas are kind of like alphas, dominant as well. I'm sigma, so we have both. We have beta tendencies and alpha tendencies. We don't really like to be alpha, but we know how to have that dominant side. And we have that submissive side to us. So we know how to navigate between the two. And that's why I noticed for me, it's helping me with understanding what type of partner that I really have to have, and why I can't have certain kind. You got to know these things. So a part of learning your identity, you want to be real with yourself. If you need to get therapy and let them diagnose you, not to say that everybody's, has issues, but growing up to narcissistic abuse, being around narcissistic parents, you're going to end up having narcissistic partners unless you have done the healing, unless you have evolved and understand what you've been dealing with and healed. It's just what it is. And when you come from a narcissistic parent and then go to a narcissistic partner, it just double damage, and then it keeps beating you down because of that abuse and that cycle of abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse that you go through, even if it's not physical abuse. Hey, no, so you go through that, and these are just the things that I've learned. You have to get knowledge on these things. You have to get knowledge on narcissists. You have to get knowledge on the spiritual aspect that's operating behind that. You have to take your personality test to see, what's flawed about you. Because when you really want to heal and you really want to become a better person, you can't sit around acting like you're just perfect. You're just this angel. You don't have no imperfections about you, but yet you have a bunch of unstable relationships. You have a nothing but abusive relationships. There's something not clicking there, and you need to figure out what that is, and you need to allow the Holy Spirit to lead you to that. And that's what God has done for me. And today it was just interesting because I'm in my feelings, and y'all know I told y'all this almost like every week. I be getting in my feelings because this is what I do. Like in BPD, it's not like depression. BPD is borderline personality disorder, and it's not like bipolar where you can have days of sadness and then days of in your manic state just hyperactive and just feeling confident in yourself, and then you go back to being depressed and doing real extra self-sabotaging things. Ours fluctuate throughout the day. You be happy in a period of time. In a few hours, you go from mad to sad to happy, back to you can fluctuate within the hours. So and it's just like something come over you. I don't even know what triggered this to me the other day, but I got mad at God again, and I'm like, you're just making me mad. Like, and this is something else too that I want to tell y'all. Me having this relationship with God, because ain't nobody else in this, and it's just me and him, and that's all I have. I don't have nobody. I just have God and my children. So because that's all I had, it goes back to, and I already told y'all, God is a narcissist too. I did a video about God is a narcissist, and he is a narcissist. If you want to know, I'll link that video in here. Y'all need to watch that video. When you really get to know God, you know, oh, you a narcissist. That's why he said he's alpha, and a lot of these narcissists out here are alpha, omega type of people, dominant, power, but the difference is God can be, because he is the creator. He created all of us and everything in it. These other people who want to have this power, dominance, they're counterfeits. They are not God. So they be wanting to have this God complex and this superior demeanor and want to control and dominate everything in the world and everybody in their world and everything. It's like, relax, you're not God. Yes, God made you in his image, but you are not God. So you need to humble yourself. And a lot of those type of people, they don't even know how to submit to God because they feel like they are God. Like the enemy. That's how you know when they operating under satanic type of things, because that's how the enemy thinks. That's how the enemy thinks. You want that position of the Godhead. You want that type of power and authority. But what I was getting to is because that's what I was, venting to, and in my gratitude journal. And it's so funny because I've been in my feelings, so I went walking this morning and stuff, and I just like to get out and I'm real with how I feel to God, and because that is the only person I have, and I feel like he be letting me down, and I feel like it's just like, once again, this is what I wrote in my letter, because I'm not gonna like show everything, but in my gratitude journal I have letters to God. And it's so funny because I was on a letter to God, and then it's like scripture and stuff. And it's just funny how my own book helped me today. This is my first day writing in this one. I normally like write in the other one, and I'm not even consistent with writing. I'm more of a talker, so that's what I do. I'll go walking and I just talk all my feelings out. And sometimes I be mad at God and I be like, I'm not talking to you. I don't feel like talking. And I realize I treat God like I do with my relationships. Like, that's how you can tell that what you do in your regular relationships, because I do the same in this relationship. and you make me mad, it's like, okay, I'd be ready to cut God off too. But it's like I can't cut God off. I can't cut God off because I know what he has done for me. And I know that the things that he's not doing that I'm pestering him about is obviously for a reason. And he just had me waiting. And that's what we're going to get to in a second. Because he just, one thing about he going to reassure you and he going to tell you, I just hate, I don't like promises and you telling me what you're going to do, but I got to wait forever for it. It's once again with that impatient thing. I don't like it triggers. I feel like I'm always waiting. Like it just is a childhood trauma thing. Like, why am I never not good enough to get what I want now? Like, why do I always have to just wait forever? Why is it like, why is nothing that I do good enough? So that's part of what I was writing in my letter today. Writing like, I'm upset and this, that, why I'm mad at you and this, that, and that. So like, it's really about being real with how you feeling, because when you hold these feelings in, it leads to other things, and you want to get those feelings out. So I already was talking about it, because I don't want to even talk to God, because he made me mad. I don't even want to talk. So I just said, I'm just gonna write. I'll write my letter to you about how I feel, because I don't feel like talking with my words. I saw in that other video I did, when I'm mad at these people because I feel like they betrayed me or feel like they let me down, it's like, you don't even deserve to hear my voice. You don't deserve to see me. You don't deserve me because you don't even appreciate me. You don't even love me. You don't even see how all my hard work I do, it just goes unnoticed. Like I wrote that here. I'm like, you treat me just like my narc mom. Nothing I do is good enough for you. Like, because it does remind me of that sometimes. That's why I know God is an art, because I be feeling like you treat me like her too. Like, but I know God is ultimately training me up. It's not that he wants to just do these things to me. I know it's all for a reason, but I don't be wanting to totally hear that. And I don't be wanting, and even though like the like this journal is my own journal, I don't have them for sale yet, like in the physical copies, but I think I am gonna sell the physical copies, because maybe my own journal, I was getting ready to go to the store to get a journal, and I'm still gonna go get me a journal for something else. But I went to the store and the store was closed, and I don't even know what made me come back. I was like, I'm gonna start writing. I need to start doing my gratitude journal. And when you feeling like this, and when you get to complaining a lot, you need to practice gratitude. And like it says, the first page of here, it says, thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. And thankfulness may consist merely of words, but gratitude is shown in acts. It's an act of gratitude. It's being grateful for what you do have. I really, and when I humble myself, and that's even like a prayer that's in the back of this book, that I created. I'm not going to show it because this is for the book. So, y'all know that I don't think that, I think I uploaded this. Yeah, I think the new upload that I have has this prayer in it. Yeah, because I added, because this is a longer book. So if you want the ebook, the gratitude journal of this, you can definitely go ahead and get it. The link is in the description. But if y'all want a physical copy, just gotta wait a little bit, because it is something, like a couple things that I want to alter about it before I get more physical copies printed. But it's so funny how the store was closed and I went home and I'm like, dang, everything that I wanted to go get a journal for to have, because I wanted to have distinct separate journals for different things. And I'm like, shoot, this actually, I already made the journal that I need to help me. And it's just interesting that God let this, like, I went up there and the store was closed and I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna just go home. And while I was sitting there doing my stretches and stuff, I'm like, I need to go do my gratitude journal, because I was just in there as I'm stretching and stuff. I'm talking to God and I'm just talking about I'm being upset and stuff. And I'm like, I really don't even want to talk to you, God, but I know I got to talk to you. It's like, because he's the only one I have, it's like, I can't even cut you off. Like I would do a normal person, every other person, I would cut them off, but I can't even cut God off, because for one, I am loyal to him and I know that he's real. But I just be feeling like, why do you want me to suffer? Like, extra after all that I've done. I gave up so much. I've done so much, like, that people who knew you longer and was raised up on you, and they, just looking around and be seeing what other people doing and be like, dang, they get to do this, they get to do that, they be, and that's why too, you do gotta realize you're not them. And that's what God tell me oftentimes, you're not them, you can't do what they do. And I'd be like, it just be, I'm like just a little stubborn child. um I'm that child, and I get to be completely childlike with God, and I do. And because I have that like childlike faith, I'm like a child. That's why even when you give me promises, and God gave me a promise before I even left Maryland, he gave me a promise, and I'd be like, why is it you gave me this promise? Like, you already knew what it was. I'm not this and that. I'm not gonna go all into it, but this and that, but yeah, you acting like this and that. And you already know what I'm here to do. You already know what I'm trying to do. You already know who I am. You already know, and I'm like, I'm holding on to this promise. And I don't like promises. And I realized that with men too. I don't like when men tell me what they going to do and all of this. Man, talk is cheap. You need to be about that action. Don't tell me nothing. Just surprise me if anything. Because I'm like a child when it comes to that. You know how you tell your kids, oh, I'm gonna take you here today. And they're going to pester you about it. They want to know when. As soon as you tell them what you're going to do for them, they expecting it. That's how I am too. You tell me this, I'm expecting it. I'm having faith that you're going to do this when you said you're going to do it, even though God don't always tell you when he going to do something. And that be the problem for me, and that be a problem for a lot of us as humans. And this is what makes people end up getting into astrology, makes people end up getting into witchcraft, because they want to know, and they want to know when. So they get this hype off of it. Even in prophetic words, because I realize that you keep listening to these words and you're like, okay, when is this going to happen? You get addicted to this stuff. It becomes idolatry, because you begin to worship that stuff over just worshiping God and trusting that you know who he is, and I am that I am, and I'm a man of my word. He's gonna do what he said he's gonna do. But we be getting caught up into the win. And that's how I operate too. I realized that, I came across a letter that my ex had wrote me before. And when I read the letter, I read the letter and I'm like, it actually make me despise you. Like, once again, because I'll be like, you just sold me a dream. And it make me mad too at God, because I'm like, God, do the same thing. You always telling me, oh, this, like, you gave me a vision. I didn't ask for this. You gave this to me. You told me this promise. And now it's like you holding it over my head like a doggy treat and making me jump through hoops and hurdles just to get it. And I'd be like, you acting like my narc mom, like, and then I'm doing all of this for you. I'm doing all of these things and nothing is good enough for you. It's like, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. So it'd be making me mad. And this is why I end up getting mad at God. But today when he, told me go write in my journal, because I literally forgot because I was getting ready to write in my other one, but I was like, oh, I forgot I have this one. And this was just perfect, because this one has like the prompts, and it was just so right on time today. Because it was right about what I was feeling, what I was talking about, everything that I was talking to God about. And, because on here, my first page is like what motivates me. On your first page of this, I'm going to try not to. It just say like what motivates me, my habits, and it's just like right on time, because when I start feeling like this is when I start doing self-sabotaging things. Like yesterday, I ate so much crap. That's the quiet BPD though. You self-destruct. You hurt yourself inwardly. You hurt your own self. Like, you have goals that you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, you're going to go eat all of this stuff, emotional eating and being mad, and you wreaking havoc on yourself. I don't get mad and go cuss out the world. I hurt myself. I don't do self-cutting, but I hurt myself through what I'm eating and what I'm consuming, and, just the thoughts that be racing. That's how I say. That's how I know I definitely have it. I definitely have it. And like I said, I see how I even do with God. But I wrote all my feelings out after I was done with this journal, after I was done with my entries for today. I felt better. And then of course I have prayer. I have scripture in here. So, sometimes when you feeling like this, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to read that, because I already know. Because it's like he'll put the scriptures in my head and I'll hear them, and stuff. But it'd be like, that rebellious part, that rebellious spirit come upon me, and I'd be like, I don't want to hear that. Can you just do it already? You know? And that's how I be feeling like with God sometimes. I'm like, you just be selling me a dream. You just like these men out here. You all y'all want to do is sell somebody a dream and have somebody jump through hoops and hurdles and tests and all of this to prove you're worthy, to do this, to do that. And it just be like, it make you just don't even want it. Just forget it. Just forget it. But with God, it's like, no, I need what I'm asking you for. I need this and I need you to do it. And I'm like, it's like, that's why I be feeling like you really doing it. You really are being extra. But once I sat down here and did my gratitude jar and did my gratitude entry, and I realized you do have like Tania, even though like he still, even though you don't have everything you want, he still, even when you was homeless, he still put you in the best shelter. You got the best room. Like, well, I ain't gonna say I got the best room, but you still good. Look, even now, he put you in a bomb house. Like, even though you don't have everything you want, God, like, it's like you still are blessed. And it's like, you got to see that. It's because I'm not getting everything I want. And I'm that all or nothing type of person. I was like, I always tell y'all, if I want all I want or I want nothing at all. Like, you know, and that's my flaw. It's like knowing that just be grateful. But I feel like I am grateful. But I do be wanting, what I want. I feel like, dang, why am I not like I'm deserving of the things I'm asking for. So why can't I just have it? And why do y'all want me to wait so long? And that's my issue too, you know, that I have in my relationship. And like I said, reading that letter, it made me realize, you just sell dreams. But because it's not happening fast enough. And it's like, that's another thing too, rushing things, that impatience. Those are my flaws. Like, I have impatience. It's better now with like being at the stores because I don't like waiting. It triggers back to childhood. My mom making me wait all the time. Like, why I gotta wait? She'll leave me somewhere and make me wait forever for her to pick me up. Like, I hated that. And I think that's why it's so important for me now. And I'm not like that. I don't like to make my kids wait. If I say I'm gonna do something, I like to do it for them. Or I don't say that I'm gonna do it if I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do it. I don't like to just give these promises and they have you just hoping and hoping and for it. That's like how, you know, if y'all ever you know, experience or y'all know of other people experiencing that, you know, that parent that says they're gonna come get their child, that father that says, I'm gonna come get you. And you got the child sitting there waiting at the door. They got their bags packed, everything waiting. 6:00 come, no call from dad. 7:00 call come, no call from dad. 10:00 p.m. the child still waiting. The child like, dang, I was excited. I was excited that I was gonna see my dad and never show up. That's how I be feeling with this. And when these men be having these promises. And that's why I be like, I'm glad that you wrote this stuff down in these letters. Because one thing they gonna do is write. Because it's like that proof. This your handwriting. This from you. This what you said you're gonna do. And you ain't living up to it. So you can't be mad at me that I don't want to deal with you and all this. You gave me these promises. You said that you was gonna do this stuff. You're not being a man of your word. So if you're not a man of your word, that means I can't trust you. Word is everything to me. If I cannot trust your word that you give to me, I'm like a child in that aspect. You tell me something, I'm like that child that's sitting there waiting at the door. You told me you was coming, I'm gonna do it. Me and my first BD, we was talking about that on the phone. That's why he don't like to tell, like when he was you know, we was planning out the spring break stuff. He was like, because at first he was supposed to come down here, but I'm like, just let her come down there, you know, because stuff tight for him. But he still was gonna try to come out here. But one, I really think you just was trying to come through here to see where I live at. But you're not. Nobody is gonna know where I live at. We cool and all, but y'all not coming up in my house. I learned my lesson with that. Y'all be coming just to see what's going on, and y'all not doing that. Y'all can come visit, and of course they stay in a hotel and stuff. But you're not even coming around here. It ain't about staying here. You ain't coming here at all. I'll bring her to you, and if we hang out, we can go hang out there in the street. Um, you know, but you know, and I was telling him that you know, it's better for just let her come out there or whatever, since stuff is tight and stuff, you know, even with him. Some you know what? Because he liked my idea better. Like, let her just come there. Like, why are you doing all of this to try to come out here when you can just let her come there? You ain't got to worry about renting no car, all of that and all of that. He was like, you know what? You're pretty bright sometimes, Tania. I'm like, I said, stop playing with me. I'm bright all the time. Y'all just don't listen, which is why look at what you do. You're not that bright. How about that? Because you do things that be so backwards, and it just be like, I feel like people make things harder than it has to be, and I think that's what irritates me about people. But then too, I realized my brain is just maybe the way my brain is made up, and it's not like everybody else's. Like, I am a problem solver at heart and in my brain, and I like things to be simple. I think humans make things much more complex than it has to be. It's just like we complicate things way too much. It don't have to be complicated like that, and that's what frustrates me. So, um, you know, and even he was like, because I forgot what I was even getting to. Oh, but he was like, but don't tell her, don't tell her yet about this. Let me get everything, figured out. Once I got the flight booked, then let her know, because, she'll be pestering me about it, and she'll be calling me, and I can't let her down. He really is like that. One thing I can say about him, he does not want to, he never lets that girl down. Like, he's a man of his word, and he understands that word is wrong. He understands how she view him. He understands his role as a dad, how his daughter is viewing him, and that's why he cannot lie to her. He tells her if he can do something, even with me, if he can do it, he's gonna say he do. He's not gonna give a promise and then hold you on to it. For the most part, but for the most part with him, like with me anyway, but with his daughter, he ain't doing that. He is not gonna say that he can do something before he know he can actually do it. He gonna make it happen, and then he gonna be like, yeah. So that's what he did. He said, all right, now you can tell her. If you want to tell her now, once he got everything squared up, he was like, all right, now you can tell her. Don't tell her. Be quiet. Don't say nothing to her, because I don't want her to feel let down. That don't make me feel good, and it don't make her feel good. So I like that he understands that he knows his power as a man. And I think of a lot more of these men out here, even parents, like men and women, if you understand the power of your words, how it really affects your children and affects the people you in relationship with, you'll be careful with how you using your words, because it sticks and you're holding on to it. And like I said, for me, I have that childlike faith. I have that childlike faith with God. And that's why I be getting mad at him too. I'm like, you be saying have faith the size of a mustard seed. Do you see what I did and went through, and all the turmoil I went through for you? And I didn't even know you as long as these so-called Christians and all these other people that they claim you, and they don't even the faith I have, that the stuff that I have endured for your name's sake, and you doing me like this. So I'll get mad sometimes. Like, and that's what was about. That was what was in my letter. You see, like, I put some faces up here. Like, I really do be in my feelings. It's like I'm that, and it's like God is really like my father, and it's like I'm like that little girl inside that still needs her dad and that's still relying on her dad. So I'm having expectations that you have for a father to tend to my needs like a father's supposed to do, especially because I never experienced that in the physical with my biological dad. This is what I'm saying. When you realize where you come from, this is what identity is important, because you got to know where you come from and see the patterns that you have from your own parents, to see how you take that into your relationships, how you take that into, because that's how I feel. Like, that's the only thing my dad was ever good for, was sending me some money. It ain't like I spent a lot of time with you. And that's why now, like some women, they be like, all I need is time from a man. Don't come around here thinking that's all I need from you. I need your time, and I need them pockets. And not even to say, because I'm not a needy girl. And both my baby daddies know that I don't ask so much. I expect you to just do things, but things that I do need, close my door, Ceylani. Things that I do need, I might ask, but they know I'm expecting you to just do. And and when I do need these things, I'm expecting you to do it, because I don't ask for much. So with my dad, like when I would call and need some money, like he gonna send it. He gonna make it happen. And he used to say that's all he would tell my mom, that's all she do is call me for money. That's all you made yourself good for. You ain't never care about spending time with me. And I think that's how I be like, I would never was that type who just care about just spending time. I don't need just your time, like, because I'm a loner anyway. I don't like to be up under nobody 24/7. I need both. I do like to spend quality time with my person. Who doesn't? But don't think that I'm that girl that you're gonna just come around and be broke as a joke and think you just gonna come around, lay pipe on me and just get to linger around me, sell me sweet empty nothings. Baby, them words you saying, I'm holding you to it. So you best to do it. And I need to see that you taking steps daily to make these things happen. That's selling me a dream, and then you tell me this today. Even the stuff that you want to do for yourself. If you say you want to be this, I'm looking at what you're doing every day. That shows otherwise, because it's like it's a difference between a dreamer and a person that's ambitious. We both have dreams, but it's about what you're doing. A dreamer, you have the dreams and you don't do no work to get those dreams into reality. An ambitious person, they have the dreams, they have the vision. God gave them a vision too. They see it and they work diligently, small steps every day to accomplish those goals. That's the difference between the two, you know. But what I wanted to say was how my little niece is my daughter's best friend, but I just call her my niece because that's basically my dang old niece at this point. And that's what she asked me. She said, "Can I call you aunt?" I was like, "Yes, you can." But we was in there, I was doing my stretches and stuff, and they came in their little in there building a fort. Well, not a fort. It was supposed to be building a castle, and she built she said it was she said it was two armies. It was so prophetic. This is what I'm saying. God is just so interesting. Everything that I was writing here, complaining, like everything I just told y'all about, you make me suffer, and this, that, and that. And I told y'all videos back. My video that blew my channel, well, I ain't gonna say blew it up, but got me to, my little 14K. It was that video I did. That video did numbers, like it did like 265,000 views. That video, I remember in that video, I was saying that don't go back, because God is training you. And when you in this wilderness season, you're going to feel like you want to go back to things of your past. You're going to want to give up on the walk. You're going to want to. I be wanting to. I ain't going to hold you. I'll be like, this, man, I gave my life to you. I left everything. I did this. And it's just been, I'm not going to say it's been hell, but it's been challenging. It's been challenging. But in that video, I was saying that it's like boot camp. God is taking you through boot camp training. So it's so funny because my little niece, she set up a army. It was a bigger army, and then it was a smaller army, and in the middle they were going to battle. It's so crazy. I said, what made you like build this? And then she was explaining it to me what it was. It was a bigger army. She did the block. She set them up like they built fortresses. This is biblical. I said, don't you know this is biblical? What you doing here? And she was talking about how this one they went through more training. The bigger army, she said they went through more training, and they're more trained for the battle, for the war, and they're not. They spent all their time just like just playing around, lollygagging, basically. I said, girl, this is so prophetic. Like, this just goes to show how God will use these children to convey a message to you. Like, literally, right after I was done, I had just finished writing this, put the book down, was doing my stretches, and her and my little baby, they in there building the fortress thing. And then she explained it. She said, yeah, this is the army. This is an army, and then this is an army. This is a smaller army, and this is the bigger one. They can go up for battle. And see, this one is more trained, and they're going to take over their army. But I said, girl, don't you know this is biblical? This is what they do. And they try to take over. They want to take over your stuff and take it all. Like, that's literally what they do in here. And it just, the prophetic message that it was for me, because y'all see, I'm sitting here complaining like a baby, complaining about this, all of this. But God always reminded me, like, girl, shut up. I'm training you up. Do you know what position I'm calling you to? And like I told y'all a long time before, that girl, I don't know, I think it was a woman. And she told me a long time ago, this is before I even was in this space, talking about any of this stuff. And she said, your purpose is big. And I know I'm here to do what he said in Jeremiah. Let's open it up and read. But that's why he's taking me through this to prepare me to, this is boot camp. Like what she was saying, they went through training. See, that side, they didn't go through a lot of training. And that's why this side, they went through a lot of training on this side. That's why they was able to defeat that army. So her saying, like, literally prophetic. This is what he's communicating to me. I said, oh my gosh, God. One thing about you, he's going to send you that reassurance. And he like, girl, shut up. I'm training you. You're going through training. This is why it's harder for you. This is why it's taking longer for you. You're going through training because when you get, just like the Israelites, when you get to this land, when you get to the place that I'm calling you to, you need to be fully equipped to be able to annihilate your opponent. Like he took the Israelites. They were going to their new land, to the promised land, to smite everybody in the land and take it over. To take over. This is the takeover. So you got to be equipped. And just like he told Jeremiah, he said, we're going to read the whole part. So the calling of Jeremiah, this stuff, it's just, it just be making me mad sometimes. But then when I read it, and that's why me doing a gratitude journal, it humbled me. And then after saying the prayer that's in the back of here about humbling me, like, it's just so funny how my journal that I'm creating for other people is the one I just needed today to help me. But that it just goes to show that people do need this. Y'all need this. Y'all need this. I might have to make like a more like a bit more basic one. Not basic, but one that's not so girly so that guys can have it too, because I know I do have a lot of guys that follow me too. But that has humbled me reading that, even saying the prayer, because in the prayer it talks about humbling myself. You know, everything that the whole prayer, it was actually, because I didn't even want to pray. I'd be like, I'm not praying. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't even want to pray. I mean, I did thank him for waking me up this morning and stuff like that. And, thank us for getting us home safely and the little stuff. Like, but going into it and really talking, I didn't feel like it. Like, it just, in my spirit, I just was like, I don't feel like talking. And, like you would do in relationships with a regular person, like, I'm mad at you. I don't really want to talk. Unless it's about the kids, I don't want to talk. Until I get over this feeling. And really till you make it right, because 9 times out of 10, you were the one that did something wrong to me. But if I do something wrong, I definitely know how to apologize. But let's read this. It says, the calling of Jeremiah. Then the word of the Lord came to me saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out the womb, I sanctified you and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. Then said I, oh Lord, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But the Lord said to me, say not I am a child, for you shall go to all that I command you. For you shall go to all that I send you, and whatsoever I command you, you shall speak. So this is what God is telling Jeremiah, because Jeremiah, like, I'm a child, I cannot speak. He trained, and this is like he's training you. He says, but the Lord said to me, say not I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send you, and whatever I command you, you shall speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with you to deliver you, says the Lord. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said to me, behold, I have put my words in your mouth. Prophecy. That's why Jeremiah was called to be a prophet. Many of us are called to be a prophet, to speak the word of God, to speak the wisdom of God to his people. And even he might send us to the other side too, to defeat them. And this is the purpose of the training. This is why he's training you up in your wilderness season. He's training you. He's consecrating you. This is why, like, you got to do a lot of fasting. You got to do a lot of this stuff that it'd be like, what the freak am I doing? And then it make you really, you're going to be like, what? This can't be real. It just seems so surreal. Sometimes I even be like, am I being too spiritual? Am I being too spiritual and not enough logical? Like, and this is the battle that you might go through sometimes, because it's like, am I being too spiritual and just not, and wanting to see it all from like the spirit thing? Because spiritual will tell you spiritual is the opposite of worldly. Like, the world tells you you need to be out here hustling and bustling. You need to be a slave you need to be a modern day slave. But spiritual tells you that you don't do what the world does. You don't be a modern day slave like them. You slave for the kingdom. And sometimes slaving for the kingdom, you're not going to see paychecks every 2 weeks. You're not going to see what you see. You might struggle for some time when you're in the kingdom, until you get fully equipped, and until he puts you in position where your kingdom job ends up paying you what you're supposed to make. So then it says, see, I have this day set you over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. So this is the job of the chosen one. This is your job. He has set us over nations and over kingdoms, to root out and to pull down. We're rooting out and pulling down all the iniquity and all the evil that's in this world. A lot of the stuff that we despise, this is why we're chosen. Just like it was saying in Ezekiel, he marked us. He told the servant to go through the city and mark everyone that hates the wicked of this world. A lot of us hate the wicked. This is why we were black sheep in the first place, because we don't want to fit in with these cults out here. We don't want to be a part of this heinous stuff that they do. We don't have the spirit that they have. We're not like them. And they tried to force us into darkness, but our light always prevailed. The light in us was so bright that we just couldn't. Our heart is just set up differently than theirs, that we couldn't. And even if they got us in for a while, we had to escape. And they might have blackballed you and blackmailed you and exploited you because of that. And then they want to kick you down because you don't want to be involved in that mess. Because in our heart, that does not, we are righteous at the heart. We know good from evil from since we was young. We don't want to be a part of that wickedness. But he has put us in position. He has called us here as the chosen ones to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. We're going to destroy all evil and build up greatness. We're going to build up the new city of God, the new Jerusalem. We're not here to indulge in that old mess. We're here to tear down everything that's corrupt. Even if it's your own family, even if it's some of your own ways, we want to tear down these corrupt things and build up the greatness. This is what our assignment is. The same as Jeremiah, the same as Isaiah. He gave us the authority to root out, to pull down, to destroy, to throw down, to build, and to plant. So you can knock everything down. He gave us authority like he has, because God has this same power. We were really made in his image. He has this same power. He can destroy and he can build. Y'all know, y'all know my favorite one. Don't let me go read Isaiah. Isaiah 45. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. It says, the Lord alone is God. Okay. He say, I'm the Lord and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded you, though you have not known me. That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And he builds up and tears down. He make peace and make evil. And he's given us the ability to do the same, because we are his workers. We are the worker bees for the kingdom, for the king bee. You know, it really is like queen bee, but the king bee, we are the worker bees for him. So he's given us that power to go out and do the same things that he does. This is why they are threatened by us, because the kingdom of darkness, these evil spirits that might be living within your families and lovers and everybody at the workplace, co-workers, they already see your spirit. They know what that light is here to do. That light is here to overpower that darkness. We are the water that's here to put out that fire. So because that's what we're here to do, we must go through the training to be equipped for it. And especially because, like I said in the beginning of the video, a lot of us are empaths and we're in a weakened state. And you can't be weak like that for this new position that he is calling you to. You got to know that there's a time for peace and a time for war. It's a time for both. But when you in training, he's training you so that when it's time for war, you war ready. That's what, like I said back in that video, you war ready. He equipping you for the fight. He equipping you for the fight, and you must be prepared. This is why you going through so much. This is why, and that's why sometimes I be like, the logical sense, it make you want to think about like worldly things, like, having a house, having a car, having a job, having these things of the world, having income. But the spiritual aspect, I understand that I'm really here to tear down these wicked plans from all these politicians and all the wicked. I'm really here to go like it's real. What I really feel on the inside, it goes deeper than money and cars and houses. It's real righteousness. I despise a lot of the wicked that's going on, that's starting from these rulers in higher places. I really despise those things. Some of these laws that they put into place, I despise those things. And that's why sometimes I be like, man, God, what am I like? Because I mean, it's like it brews inside. I really have a strong hate for a lot of the wicked stuff that go on here. Just like God says in the word. So it's like when I read the word, because sometimes, and that's why I can't really listen to a lot of these Christians out here, because they always want to talk about this love thing and just, you don't want to be a hateful person, but, because they like to, all this whole God is love, God is righteous. And sometimes it can be tough love. And tough love is coming down on these wicked folk out here that's doing these wicked things. And it ain't about just loving you through it in that way, like just pacifying it, because a lot of the world is corrupt, because people are spreading this, oh, love, just love them for in this and just do this in love. Nah, no. You need to know what you're doing is wrong and that is unacceptable. And love is telling you that it's unacceptable, and you need to get that together, because it's not okay to do that. These loving people through anyway, is why so many children are getting their innocence stolen, because the love that you have for the family member who has done it, and you don't want to crucify them, so you want to just let them silence the child and make the child hurt and suffer for this other person out here. Meanwhile, they get to go out there and wreak havoc on many other people. Stuff like that. Even within this, like within the government, all of the wicked stuff that they doing, behind the scenes with this in the system, how they getting over on our people in the world. It's just like, my standpoint on things is bigger than this other stuff. And I don't love it. And I'm not going to act like I do. I'm not going to act like I want to be nice about it. I don't like a lot of the stuff that they going out here, even down to the abortion. Y'all already know how I feel about that. Ain't nothing cute about it. It's not okay. It's not okay. And this whole love thing, with the way they try to use love and to cover up things because of love and just pacify it, that pacifying stuff is exactly why this world is corrupt. It's exactly why the world is corrupt. And we're here to bring all that darkness to the light. All these cults and these covens, these secret societies, and all the wicked that they doing, and then initiating people into it to try to build up their army. You got the kingdom of darkness. They army too thick, and I don't like that. We gotta destroy, like he told us. The prophets, just like he did. That's why y'all need to be better read that book of Chronicles, book of Kings. We destroy what's evil. The prophets will go and destroy what's evil, like he told Jeremiah to do. I brought you here to tear down, just like Jehu had Jehu had to go and unalive Ahab whole family, all of them, Jezebel, all of these false prophets out here, you know. And that's another thing, but I'll probably talk about that in like another video. But you got to realize the enemy be he copies everything of God. He copied everything. That's why you can't, every prophetic word you hear up here, all of it ain't from the Lord. Everything ain't from the Lord. The enemy copies everything that God does. God got prophets, so does the enemy. God has angels, so does the enemy. God has armies, so does the enemy. God has money, resources, power, so does the enemy. God blesses his people, enemy blesses his people. Enemy even try to bless some of God people to think that it's God blessing them when it really is him blessing them, but disguising it as something. And and that's another thing I be like, you got people that really be out here saying your name and they're promoting this. But these are the same things that I was convicted of, but yet they're promoting these things, making buku money off of these things and saying your name, yet me who done turned away from doing these things. And these people knew you longer than me. They knew all of this stuff. They know the Bible more than me. They knew all these things, yet you making me suffer. And this is just how us as chosen ones be feeling sometimes, like, dang, why does evil seem like evil prevails? Why does it seem like, you know how they say the good die young? But yet these psychos and these sickos and they be out here just living, even though they be suffering tremendously inside, but they flesh still be walking on this earth, wreaking havoc on the earth, continually defiling the earth. Yeah, it's like they still get to just, So I be feeling like that too. And I be like, it's not fair. It's once again, just like being the scapegoat of a narcissistic family, you will feel like you still the scapegoat even when you're serving the Lord. And I be like, it's not fair. It's just not fair. You guys, but ultimately, that's what part of getting your identity is, because God is trying to show you who you are, where you came from, why you've been through the things you've been through, why are you going through the things you're currently going through, where it's going to lead you to, that ultimately is going to lead you to your land flowing of milk and honey if you just trust. Let me get these scriptures I got in here, baby. When I tell you they had to help me today, because it's so funny. When I was walking this morning, I was praying for that. I was like, God, just take this hate out of my heart, and just because I'm getting mad. I'm like, just make me. I don't want to be mad at you no more, but I am mad at you still. So Ezekiel 36:26 says, "A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you heart of flesh." I mean, I'm gonna take away that hardness out your heart, because even when it comes to, I realize this in, with how I deal with men as well. Like this goes all into the personality disorders, and even though, like, part of me, because I feel like I'm like schizoid as well. Because I just have no desire to even be close to people. Like, so that's another thing. But I realized too, like, my history with guys, like, it just be the history. It be the history, and some of these dudes, like, they like, you just, I'm not pressed. I'm just not pressed over men. Like some of these girls fantasize over men. I don't do that. I just be feeling like I didn't had these men just be here. Like they ain't going nowhere. And then you got some of them that act like women. Women ain't going nowhere. I just don't understand, but it's idolatry, and some people, you know, idolize different things. My idol was idolizing money, and some of it is still like just wanting stability. I really just crave stability and security for my children so that they don't have to do things that some of the things that women get into just to have stability, just to have things, just to feel love. I don't want them doing that. So I want to be able to provide it for them. And I want their dads to make sure that they're providing them with that love, attention. So they're not going out here seeking attention from all these dudes out here in the streets, and that they not getting sugar daddies and everything just to have some sort of stability, and that they not marrying for money and marrying for this. Even though it's business, you don't want to marry with anybody that it, they don't, they're not a good business partner, because it is a business. You're signing a contract. That means business. The moment you got to put paper to pen to come into agreement with anybody, that's a contract. A covenant is a verbal agreement. And you don't want to go into contract with just any old body, because when you lose, they lose. When they lose, you lose. The decisions they make affect you. The decisions you make affects them. And when you got two people that don't think like that, and they don't think about the betterment of the whole family, and they just think about themselves, being narcissistic, being selfish, then it's like you go into bad deals. You're signing bad deals. You do bad business, because that means you signed a bad contract. You didn't weigh the pros and cons. You didn't do your research. You just jumped in and invested in a bad investment. You know, and that's how, I be feeling now. And I realize too, like, where this thing come from with my disdain for guys. Like, when it comes to getting, like, on a normal level, like cool, just friends, I love men. But when it comes to getting close, up and personal and relationship, it's like, I'm real resistant to it, because I've had a problem with boys my entire life. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I literally have always had issues with boys, even though I hung around a lot of boys. I'm cool with like I said, it's when it gets personal. From a friend standpoint, they cool, but the moment feelings and stuff get involved, it just be too much. And I mean, I even had issues with boys that I wasn't even intimately involved with, like when I was younger. Like I remember the one boy, Elijah. I hated him because he always was bothering me. I'm like, what am I doing to you? First of all, why are you bothering me? You always got something to say. I'm never gonna be. He shot me with the BB gun, like, But I just be like, that's why I think I just don't really be caring for him like that. I'd be like, just give me the money. I don't care. I'd rather have stability and no man, and be able to pay other men to come do the service that I need my man to do, like, as far as housework, stuff that I need a man to do around the house, than to have one living with me and you just gonna be causing me strife, and you gonna be getting on my nerves all the time, because it's just like, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me, you know? And my ex always tried to tell me that you just messed up in the head. The way I view you guys is like that because of what y'all have shown me. Even you sell nothing but dreams. So it's like, why would I put my trust in you? And that's just how I be feeling. Like, why would I put my trust into these guys when all y'all gonna do is let me down anyway? So why even put my trust into you? Why even waste my time? Why even do that? I just feel like it's futile. It's no point in doing that, because you're going to let me down. And I don't want to keep getting let down all my life. Okay? But we are human. We do make mistakes. But like I said, it's the overall. The ratio, it's the ratio for me. And when you doing more letting me down than more coming through, and you doing more negative than positive, that ratio is off. And like I said, I don't really want to do bad deals. at this point in my life. Bad deals, that's a bad deal, baby. I'm not saying no return on my investment. We're not getting no type of profit. The profit margins are off, baby. Hang it up. Hang it up. You know, but this overall, you guys, this video was to me giving my examples and my stories and letting y'all know this stuff, to let y'all know how our past, you know, our upbringing, how that plays a part into our identity. And, you know, it even plays a part into your relationship with God and how you view God. It plays a part into how you may parent your children. And it also plays a part into your calling, finding your purpose in life. Because in order to find it, you have to get your identity together. You have to know who you are, and you have to get with your creator to see why he even created you here. It's impossible for you to know what you were created here to do if you don't go to the manufacturer, the creator of you, to figure that out, and then get with the manufacturer to tell you how to execute said purpose. You have to go through him to find these things out. And once you do, you'll be able to prosper in it. But even through the journey of getting completely in the purpose and just excelling all the way in it, you need him to lead you through that. And a lot of times, as part of the leading, is having that blind faith as you're in your wilderness season, even though you don't understand what's going on, even though you're losing this, losing that, even though you're going through the whole thing. It might feel like you're going through hell for real. You're going to be like, what the heck did I do? Maybe these people were right. But then he sends you reassurance to say, look, no, you're where you're supposed to be. You're where I told you to be. You're doing what I'm telling you to do. But there is more training that you must go through. You haven't got it all yet. You need more training. Because when I put you in this position, I need you to carry it out appropriately. So don't be dismayed by the process. Even though you're going to be feeling away. But you just gotta stay down. Stay down until you come up and fully get the preparedness that you need to execute. And definitely practice gratitude, y'all. Gratitude is one of the 7 keys to the kingdom. Like I wrote in my book, it's one of the 7 keys to growing a super intimate relationship with God. And like I said, once I did my gratitude entry today, it actually made me feel better. That's why I was able to get up and do the video. Because part of me, when I go through this, I'll be like, I don't even feel like doing no video. But this morning while I was walking, I just be talking to myself, and I just be talking out loud. And I was like, I need to do a video about identity, because I already was talking about it. But then I was just talking to myself about, about how I am, my relationship with God, and why I'm like this, and why I'm feeling this way, So I was just feeling away and everything. And I'm like, but one thing about it, like I said, God he be telling me stuff. And sometimes I just be like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I just want what I want. I just want what I want. But you can't just always have what you want. So that sucks, but that's life. And that's what you just have to deal with. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this video here. Y'all see here, I be acting like a little stubborn little brat sometimes. But at the end of the day, God got you, God got us, and it's a real relationship. So don't be mad, don't feel bad when some days you be feeling like how I'm feeling. When it comes to your relationship, you just know that God got you, and he know what he's doing, and you just have to remember to trust him. It's during these times where you really need the faith versus the times where everything is good. You don't really need faith when times is good, but when times is bad, that's when you need that faith. That's when you need to really need to be steadfast during those times. So with that being said, you guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. I hope y'all got something out of this. We're going to be talking a lot about identity and a lot about the wilderness season. And if you are in your wilderness season, you definitely need to be reading the book of Exodus. You need to be reading the book of Exodus and the book of Numbers so you can see what, because we're ultimately going through the same thing that the Israelites went through. You know, the more you complain and all of that, it prolongs your time. The more you looking at what the nations are doing, and then you want to start doing things like the nations do them, you prolong your time. That's what the Israelites were doing. They start getting into idolatry because they see what the nations are doing, not knowing that they are sacred, they are the chosen people, they are different, they cannot do what the nations are doing. And the reason why you can't is because you're holy. You're his holy people. You're his chosen people. You are supposed to do the things of the Lord that separates you from those people so people can have a clear identity on who God people is versus everybody else. It needs to be distinct, you know. And we go through the same thing as the chosen ones. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, y'all. But this video long enough. So until the next time, you guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. You guys enjoy the rest of your day or your night, whatever time you see this. Peace and blessings. And mwah, this is